to another episode of the Central Crown. How's everybody doing? Don't all jump at once.
Hey, was doing good for these last couple of days.
Go Guards!
For those that are real Tiger fans, don't pay any mind to the person in the lower screen. He doesn't know what team he's rooting for half the time, so we'll just let him be.
I'm just speaking for y'all Cleveland fans. That's all. I'm just speaking for them.
All right. Okay. Let's go around Robin here and introduce yourself. The one on the lower, my left, I guess. No, not me. There we go.
You put yourself
to him. Go. Yeah.
What's going on, man? It's the New Breed 313 Sports, also 313 The New Breed Real Talk. Like, subscribe to the channel. Glad to be here. The Central Crown, best show in the land. So y'all will see why.
Man, that's crazy.
Get him off the screen quickly.
Oh man. What's going on, everybody? I'm Steven. You can find me at Rising Tigers on X. I'm the resident statistician and yapper. So that's my thing. Not feeling amazing right now, but I've got hope. And this guy's trying to wear me out. So let's roll. I want to talk.
What's up, y'all? Y'all can find me on X at @1pride_JR. Let's get to it.
Woohoo! All right. So let's start with the first topic. Rolling in. The future of the starting rotation. So basically, how do we feel about the current and where do we see it down the road? Steven, let's go. Let's shoot with you first.
Perfect. It feels making sure we got the right Steve on the screen. This almost feels like kind of the ending point that we had to put into our last episode. Finally talking about the pitching. It's kind of a sticky situation. We obviously parted with two veteran guys, Derek Skubal, Casey Mize. We talked a lot about those two, but we didn't talk about the rest of the pack. And that's mostly because the rest of the pack is still kind of coming together. That said, we have a really stable arm in Troy Melton that kind of came out of left field, sort of. I mean, he was encouraging down the stretch last year, but last year in AA and AAA 2025, he wasn't necessarily the most overpowering prospect, and then came up, really just showed some mental toughness, some good preparation before starts. And this year, he obviously, if you saw on DSN today, he's like top 6 all time in lowest ERA through his first 17 career starts. And that's super encouraging. Obviously, don't expect Troy Melton to be a sub-2 ERA guy for his career. That's just not his makeup. He's not a high strikeout pitcher. He's not a low walk pitcher. But he has excellent stuff. I feel pretty encouraged about the guys that are coming back to fortify him next year. I know Jackson Jobe wasn't sharp yesterday against the White Sox, but the stuff is certainly good enough to be a stable 3. Upside of a 2. I don't necessarily see him being our ace as long as Troy Melton is in this rotation. And I see some guys in the minors that might be able to take a step forward. Fromber is your veteran guy. He's not performing the way he should be. And some of the numbers don't necessarily back his struggles. They suggest that eventually he's going to right the ship, at least back to being an above average starting pitcher. Jack Flaherty coming in down the stretch. I mean, unfortunately, his injury has turned out to be worse than we thought. Could pitch some vital innings in the rotation or the pen. Kader, really encouraged, minimum 5 starter, but if he pitches like this year long term, that's a solid 3-4 guy that you can build off. I like the guys we've got in the minors. River Ryan, when he gets back healthy, he's going to be probably upside of a 3 or 4 minimum. He could potentially become an ace with his stuff, but we got to actually see that in action first, of course. So we've heard a lot of talk about him, but not necessarily seen anything yet. And then, of course, there are the toss-ups like Reese Olson. There's Andrew Sears, who's really taken a step forward and is now up to AAA. He could impact the team as soon as next season, and he looks like he's got good stuff from the left side. And Ty Madden out of the bullpen right now looks like he could come in and start games. The last person I'll mention, just to get his name out there, Drew Anderson has honestly performed admirably as a starting pitcher in his last couple outings. I have been pleasantly surprised by the fact that he's been able to alter his pitch mix to become a little bit more contact friendly and lower the walks a touch. And he's pitched to contact, and that's been great in the situations we needed. I'll send it on and we'll continue.
Moving over to Mike.
Yeah, as far as our pitching, man, I like our young three. Like I like Job, I like Montero, I like I'm forgetting Melton. Melton is the top of the top list, but that's what I'm concerned of watching the last half of the year, and then I'm also excited about getting the River back in the mix, like when he gets healthy and seeing what he can do. Other than that, I think the Valdez signing is looking really kind of bad right now. Um, he shows flashes. He goes out there and he has great games, and he goes out there and he has turds for games. So you never know what to expect from him. At this point, it's almost like a lost cause, but we still got 2 more years, I believe. So we're gonna have to get through it. But as far as the pitching staff for now and going into the future, I'm just focused on those 3 young guys, and then seeing what the River pitcher is, seeing what he is when he finally gets a chance, and going from there. Because the Valdez, I don't know what to make of it right now. It's just not looking good.
New breed.
So, as far as the future of the starting rotation, Melton, you can see has flashes of being a potential number 1 starter. You got to see what Jackson Jobe is about. You got to see what all these guys are about. It just seems like I'm a little worried about the future because we always come across as a rotation that gets injured. And that's what I'm really worried about. I'm worried about the star rotation getting injured. I'm worried about the relievers as well. But the starting pitcher, man, we just can't seem to get a season to where our starters are like healthy. And that's been a problem. And I'm worried about that. And then it seems like when we have a good pitcher, we want to we so eager to trade him away. And that's another thing I'm worried about. So it's just I think we got some flashes, we got some nice pitching. It's just, can they stay healthy? That's the biggest thing I'm worried about. And also, not even just that, just even if they are pitching, I want them to go deep, like go 6, 7 innings. It's a lot of times to where our pitching is going 2, 3, 4 innings, and you can't win baseball doing that on a consistent basis. You can't do that, and I'm worried about that. And Valdez, and I'm with Mike, man. Valdez, you kind of thought him and School was going to be that 1-2 punch, and we had the best rotation in the majors, and it just wasn't that way. And, when we talked about, having Scooble here, I think he was only like 5-4 here. So it wasn't like he had this lights out season where he, did his thing. He had his strikeouts and everything, but he was still 5-4. That's what happens when you have teams that can figure you out. They know the pitches where they can get you. They know the pitches where they can't get you. So that's a concern with me, man. Is the future is them getting hurt, but that is baseball. But you don't want your young guys to get injured early, and that's going to damage their arms. and you don't want that. That's if you have a dead arm, you don't want to have a dead arm before you're 25, 26, because then you're damaged goods. So that's my thing on that.
Yeah.
One of the pitchers I was intrigued by coming into the season, I didn't mention him when we were just talking, was Reese Olson. It's because of that, man. He can't stay healthy, can't stay on the field. He's a very talented guy, very talented pitcher, but if you can't be on the mound, what's the difference? What's the use?
It just seems that like maybe it's just us because we concentrate on it, but it seems like a lot of your pitchers now, they're trying to throw 100 all the time, and over time that just it wears you down, and that's it. I just looked at a couple of our prospects, and like their fastball is their thing. They're like on the grading scale, they're like 60, 65 on the grading scale for fastballs, and it's like we're just getting power pitchers. Well, I mean, they have a propensity to have Tommy John surgery, or they end up getting hurt or something like that. You don't get very many finesse pitchers in baseball anymore that could leg out 7 innings and go to 110 or 120 pitches. But we did talk about. I remember when we had that pitcher on one time. He said that over in Japan and stuff, they pitch a god awful amount of innings, and they go way up in the triple digits in pitching. And it doesn't change much for them. So now, mind you, maybe they play a different style of baseball, but he said that there's nothing wrong with pitchers going into like 110, 120 pitch count. It's just not what baseball does anymore. But I mean, I like starting rotation going forward. I have to agree with New Breed. Like you have to. I mean, you almost have to have like 10 starting pitchers because at least 2 or 3 of them are going to be injured through the season. You got to have a lot of starters. But I do like. I'm very interested to see in River Ryan though. I just want to see what we got in him. But I'm cool on the future of the starting rotation. We got a good pitching coach, so he can always help him out.
Yeah. I kind of just want to be a little careful about the idea that our system is kind of chock full of a bunch of high velocity arms, just because, let's be honest, our problem the last few years hasn't been a bunch of high velo guys getting hurt. It's honestly been a lack of high velo arms. I mean, Tyler Holton has been eating, meaningful innings for us for 3 years now. And, 90 to 92. Brant Herter's kind of the same. I mean, Brant Herter's great. I'm not saying that he's bad, but you've got your high velo guy in Skubal for sure, who's now traded. Jackson Jobe is a high velo guy they added. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, through the first few years of Harris's tenure, we were kind of stuck with a lot of lower velocity guys, especially in the bullpen. And we traded a lot of our high velocity guys from the Avila era to get prospects, which was the right thing to do. We weren't going to do anything with Gregory Soto long-term, for example. We weren't going to do anything with Joe Jimenez long-term, for example. The main thing that I see is that the high velo guys in the bullpen, like Jason Foley, Alex Lang, and now Will Vest, who's still in the organization, but the other 2 were cut due to injuries. I think that Harris is scared of exactly what you're saying, but he's getting the opportunity to actually draft high-level college and high school arms, which he couldn't really do in 2023 because this organization was completely devoid of offense. There were just no hitter types outside of Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and really that's it. If we're honest, it was just those 2 guys. We didn't really have truly hitterish people in the organization.
What do you consider high velo? Because there have been commentators, and I wish I could remember who they were, that have talked about like when a pitcher can throw with their flamethrowers. Mm-hmm. And so if you're like, well, he's in the high 90s. Okay, I'll agree with you there, but you've got commentators that are saying these guys are fastball throwers and they're in the mid 90s to low 90s. Those aren't flamethrowers, but that's what they're considering them. So if you're considering like 93, 94, 95 high velo, that's almost every pitcher in baseball.
I'm not. I'm talking
Okay.
specifically about 96 plus.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I
Cool.
don't actually feel like in the major leagues the last few years we've had a majority of high velo arms. I think that's a recent development. That's kind of like more so just a developmental move because obviously I'm not taking all of the responsibility off Scott Harris. He's obviously made his fair share of mistakes. I'm more so just saying that he didn't really have the opportunity to build arm talent until 2024. Most of that talent is now in the mid to upper minors. And then 2025, he got a glut of pitching. This year, he built on that.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys are fastball guys, but we should be encouraged by that because we've seen a lot of guys that are fastball guys, but their fastball is very hittable. I think that's more the issue because like Tyler Holton's cutter was his best pitch in 2023 and 2024, and it became a bad pitch in 2025. It's returned to being a good pitch the last couple months, and so he's returned to being good.
Well, yeah, like you can have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but does it have any movement, or does it move anywhere? Because just a straight heater doesn't. It works a couple of times, but if you don't have any movement on it, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and that's actually exactly my point. We're trying to build more guys that have a unique and interesting fastball. And that's what I'm that's why I'm excited about the future of the pitching staff, because even though some of the positions that we're in right now aren't looking great, there's a lot of intrigue in the shape that we're developing in the system. And also like just kind of the intrigue of the guys already at the major league level. I'm as concerned as New Breed is about Olson and about injuries to the arms, because that's just a disease on baseball right now. But I am actually quite glad that a lot of the guys we're building in the minor leagues have good fastballs, because regardless of whether or not they're throwing 98 or 88, if that fastball is hard to hit, you're going to have success in the majors.
That's true. I'm glad you...
But here's the thing for throwing hard and throwing at a high miles an hour. That's a high risk of getting injured as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful with pitching that high too, because and then also too with teams in the division, they're gonna know you even more. So they have a deeper scouting report because they see you so much. Yeah. And then even if within the American League in general, because sometimes if you're a player can have the first time they at bat, they like, okay, I didn't figure that out. But the second, third time, they can figure out like, okay, this is the pitch that got me out. Okay, he's going to throw this slider. I know he's going to throw this by the second or third pitch. So by that time, they're going to be like, okay, I got a better scout report on what he's going to do. Right. And that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly right. One question that I think makes this discussion interesting is, right now, who would you choose between Tyler Holton and Drew Summers? And I'm pretty sure the choice would be Tyler Holton. But I pose the next question to you guys of, would you make that same choice in 2 years, though? With Drew Summers getting a chance to develop and possibly gain some command, and Tyler Holton probably not going in the positive direction in that time.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, if he develops, I like him. But like, because when he first came out, I call him Baby Huey. I hate to say that, but because he's so big, but he looks like he's about 15 years old. You know, like but he was doing good, and then just recently, like he throws a cross body, and I love the way he throws it, but he hasn't gotten much movement. Like we were talking about on his stuff, it's just straight. It's just a straight pitch. And he has to... Go ahead.
See, I'm more concerned about the relief pitching than I am the starting rotation.
Yes.
Because we can have a good start, and the relief pitching can just kill us and cost us so many games. I'm more worried about that, especially going on more through the season. Mm-hmm. You need relief pitching to save you a game, and when you can't do that, they're not going to go to playoffs like that, unfortunately.
Yep. And you know what? I think because we like we definitely have coaches, good pitching coaches. I think the Tigers have an overestimation of how good they can. Like they see pitchers and they go, we can figure this out, but then it doesn't happen. Like they get to a certain point where they're just like, we can fix this guy, and it doesn't happen, and you're just like, if you guys just would have gotten somebody, but they get into hope that they could correct somebody, and doesn't always turn out that way. I think because they have such good pitching staff or such a good pitching coaching staff that they think they can coach it out of everybody, and that's the problem. Is like our relief is horrid when it comes crunch time. It is horrid, And I do like what's his name, Wegspack.
Wegspack, yeah.
Yeah, I like him right now, but next year it could be totally opposite because it's hard to get pitchers to stay consistent. It really is. But we did have a question. He says, "What are the chances we get?" And I know this is what he's trying to say is what are the chances we get Tariq Skubal back in the offseason? What do you think? Do you think that he could come back? Do you think the Tigers would actually offer him enough money to come back?
I'm going to give you a number that is going to sound low, but is actually encouraging given our history and given how much money he would cost in lieu of a CBA. I think it's about 10% chance. I think that any chance of him returning is going to be on Skubal himself. I know the Tigers are interested because they always like to add a veteran lefty starting pitcher.
Yeah.
The majority of their drafted pitchers in the minors are lefties. They are intrigued by that archetype.
Yeah.
And the CBA could change a lot of things. I mean, maybe Skubal will be signed before that, but there's probably going to be a lockout before free agency.
Yeah.
And so what are the odds that Skubal actually gets offered a contract before the rules change? Almost none. So we really aren't able to truly know, but the fact that I feel like it's even 10% just is kind of my extension of how I think the organization thinks more than anything.
I'd agree too. There's always a chance.
I think it depends on if he wins a World Series this year or not. I think that will make a decision for him. I think there's always a chance he could come back because he loved being in Detroit. It's just that are they willing to spend for a 30-year-old pitcher and spend that kind of money? If they're willing to spend that money, I don't know. And is he willing to come back? Now, if you win a World Series with the Dodgers, would you want to come back to the Tigers? If I'm winning a World Series, I'm staying on the team I win a World Series. That's just me. That's just me.
Because most of your teams that have the ability to pay and can get a World Series, I mean, they're going to still pay. Now,
yep.
I don't know. We don't know what the collective bargaining agreement is going to do. We don't know if they're going to allow grandfathers in. You don't know if, for instance, those Ohtani years, all those Ohtani years that are voided and pushing down the road, they may have a hard cap like football, and then all of a sudden that's going to weigh on your salary cap. And those void years, Ohtani's going to be gone, and he's still going to get paid for the next 20 years after that. But guess what? That affects your salary cap. Oh, but we can afford it. No, you can't, because you're gonna have to get down to zero at the start of every season, and you're gonna have $25, $50, $60 million less to spend and to get underneath that cap every single year. It depends on how it's gonna be. That is gonna be I think it's gonna be a very lengthy lockout. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think, and I like that you mentioned that, Chris, because, the Ohtani factor. It may be years down the line where you be like, hey, I don't know if we should let him pitch more. Maybe we should let him bat. So it might be as he gets older, they might not want him to pitch. They might just want him to just bat or vice versa. So
yep.
That's another key in trying to sign back Skubal. Hey, we could sign him back. Speaking of the Dodgers, if they could sign him back and be like, okay, we could put a little bit less on Ohtani, just put more on Skubal or some other people, Put a little less on him, less pitching, make him more of a batter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to. Well, next year's gonna be very interesting. Gonna be a very interesting year. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic so we don't get too far behind here. Riley Green and his injury update. Notice that I think he just started some swinging down in AAA or AA or whatever. Not sure. Pretty sure that's where he's at right now. I think I have it up right here. Riley Green is completing rehab, and he's down in Lakeland. So, yeah, he's down in Lakeland rehabbing as of, I do believe, yesterday, the day before. So, what do you guys think? Like, he's in a second half swoon now. What do you guys think? Like, he's done this. I do believe he's done that like at least last year, and now it's this year. I don't know if he did it 3 years ago or not. I know players have that. Like Miguel Cabrera, I remember, was notorious for starting off slow, and he kind of builds up after that. But do we have a cause for concern for him fading, starting to create this fading towards the end of the season? What do you think? What do you think, Mike?
I don't. I want to see him get back, get healthy, and have a good second half of the season. But this season and last season, especially last season, he did fall off the cliff after that All-Star berth. But hope he's able to come back, reverse it. My only problem with his is his running, man. Like his running, I think gets worse. Like off camera when we were talking about it, looks like it hurts when he's running, man. I don't know. That looked kind of crazy when he runs. Like it looks like he's much older than he is. But other than that, hoping the bat will pick back up and he'll be getting back to consistently hitting like he was in the first half of the season.
New breed.
I'm not concerned about his bat. I'm just more concerned about his health and him just getting back. And it's the worst time for him to get hurt, as they was kind of just had that winning streak. But I'm worried that if we don't rush him back too soon, because you know what happens when you rush him back too soon, he can get hurt again. Yep. So I'm just hopefully the right time when he comes back. But I'm worried of this injury because he's pretty much been our best player. Besides, Bogonical, he's been our best player. So with him not there, and you got to rely on these new guys and Torkelson and all these other guys, and Torkelson really hasn't played that well this year. So you asked a lot for guys who's haven't been in that kind of moment like that. And Riley Green's had a good season. For him going, I think it's gonna be a lot that these Tigers got to deal with, though, man. But I don't know. I'm a little worried. I still got faith in him, but I'm a little worried with this injury. I am worried, very worried.
Steven.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have a ton to say, but that's probably not true.
No, say it isn't so.
Well, we'll see. My big thing about Riley is that at the end of last season, a lot of us were ready to say, okay, we know who he is. Big power guy, gonna drive in a lot of runs, but he's gonna strike out a ton. He's gonna fade out from being the super duper high upside kid and into a damage doer that has a rough second half. The problem is he has really improved his process as a hitter this season. Like the intangibles of his game have improved immensely. He's reduced his strikeout rate by 5%, which for a guy like him is huge, actually. And even though he hasn't hit the homers that he's normally hit, his expected slugging is 478, suggesting that it's kind of Comerica Park's fault. I mean, he is a left-handed batter, and that right center field fence is not friendly to lefties at home. So it's possible that Riley hits some more homers on the road if he's playing for another team. But like, I love his process these days. I think that even though he's still going to give you a bat at bat a couple times a week, generally speaking, 3 out of every 5 at bats are going to be much more professional than they were a year ago. So he needs to get healthy. I don't care if he misses 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 games, as long as he gets fully healthy and back to the process that he was doing pre injury. Because it's clear that something's been nagging him for a little while. This hamstring is probably a residual of some kind of just general inflammation he's been dealing with for a while, because we've seen fewer good at bats after the All-Star game and him start to kind of get away from that process a little bit. He still had been working counts, but occasionally you just see those bad at bats. And I just want to make sure that I see him get back to that process that has made 2026 such a piece of progress for him going into his future and changing his identity as a Tiger.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I hope he does. His strikeouts were starting to get up there towards the end, and hopefully it was injury based. Maybe he was just trying too hard, but I mean, his walk rate has gotten way better, and his strikeout rate has gone down. I didn't know it was 5%. That's actually quite big. 5% is more than most people would think it is. In a small quantity, 5% is nothing, but in a big quantity, 5% is quite a bit.
Yes.
So, which is good. We always give Riley crap all the time, every single year. but
Yeah.
I mean, you can't strike out 200 times a season and call it good. You know, like it's rough unless you're putting up like 40 homers and you're walking like 80 times or something like that. Like you got to compensate for them strikeouts in some way. But
Yeah.
he's getting better.
And another thing I think they're gonna miss with Riley is his defense. I think they're gonna really miss his defense because he goes all out. He goes to dive and catches. So I think that's another thing that the Tigers are gonna miss is his defense.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his defense is really good. Yeah. Still a negative on the D-WAR though. Anyways.
I don't know what defensive metrics are, but that's all I'm gonna say on it.
I think they should be different for different positions, but that's just me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next topic here. What the heck? Did we just miss something?
Yeah, we skipped over Torque.
Here it is. That was weird. I don't know why. But Torque, Spencer Torkelson. So put the exclamations on there because he's hot. He's doing really well, and he's actually been doing that good. I had to take back what I said last time. I was on my phone. I did not have available stats to look at. Now, over the course of there's a 77 game stat supposedly that is out there. It's like he batted like 260. He played really well. 260 is my expected average he should have for the guy that was drafted 1-1 overall. Like I expect that. But if you go back just in the post All-Star, dude's on fire. Like he is doing great. In the last just in the month of August, he's batting like 350. Like he's almost actually closer to like 380. He's batting really well. But we'll let New Breed start off on this topic.
He has the talent to be a good player. It's just that can he be that consistently? Just like what Chris said, you can't be a number one pick and then you're batting it's almost like you're batting almost under 200. You can't do that. You can't. Especially after last season. You can't do that. And it's for some reason Hinch can't find a particular place in the lineup where he can put him. It's like they put him behind Greed. They'll put him behind this person. They'll have him 7th, 8th. They got to figure out where they want to have him in the lineup. And it's been like that all season. And Torque needs to work on his defense. I mean, he needs to work on his defense. I hate to say it, but he does. But it's one of them seasons where he just hasn't been good. But he can bounce back out of it. I mean, he has a very well August, but some of that has to do with the bad teams that they've been playing. I hate to say it, but it's been the bad teams. But we got to make it count when you're against teams that's just as good as the Tigers or division teams in general. You have to show up. And we'll just have to see. Like I said, I got faith in Torque. I like Torque, but if he's batting 202, 203, 205, I mean, what can you do with that? I mean, teams just ain't gonna respect you if you go 205. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. But I'm running for Torque, but I don't know. I just don't know with him. I just don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You good?
I'm good.
All right. Mike.
Same place, man. Last episode, I was kind of out. Like, it's just too much of a roller coaster for me. It's up and down. Just like you said, the stats we've been looking at, right? The stats we've been looking at.
6'7".
There's too much going on, man. It's the number one overall draft pick where he was drafted. Like, we're just not like this the first year or second year he's in the big leagues. Like, it's still too many questions at this point. But his last, like we said a few days ago, the last 70 games, those stats that's put together in that stretch, like, he's doing immaculate. But it's just like, man, when are we going to see a season of him, not necessarily at that clip, because it's a high clip that he's on right now, but when are we going to see a whole season, not ebbs and flows, of him just being consistently the guy that we need him to be? That's the bigger question.
Steven.
So one thing, generally speaking, the overarching discussion I agree with. One point that was honestly pretty minute that I do have to disagree with is that he needs to work on his defense, because I disagree strongly with that. He has been very stable at first base, and the defensive metrics I've disagreed with all year, just based on the eye test. I'm not usually the eye test guy, but Torkelson has been fantastic at first base so often. And the few times that he's had lapses were as much the fault of the other defender involved. But in terms of the roller coaster outlook of him as an offensive player, yeah, 100% agree. I have been really encouraged by his process as well, in a similar way to Riley. The problem is I don't think you can have two superstars, in quotations, on your team that are both roller coaster rides. And everyone is going to pick Riley's roller coaster over Torque's. And that's the thing, is because Riley just offers a much wider skill set. He gives you both walk, punch, and some solid defense at a more critical position in left field. As well, just always has a higher on-base percentage, always has a higher on-base batting average than Torque. But my thing is, I think that we should, as much as we can, root for Torque to succeed right now, because next season there's going to be some decisions that need to be made, because this offense, pitching staff, we talked about that for 30 minutes for a good reason, because this offense is starting to chugga. It looks pretty good most nights. Like, they might get beat by a high level arm, but like in most scenarios, the offense is executing fairly well. We're scoring like 6-ish runs a game since the All-Star game, and well over 5 since June 1st. And so, we're finally at the point this year, now that Riley's injured, where for the first time all year, we are primarily right-handed. And it's going to be really interesting to see next year if we want to bring back Gleyber Torres, for one. And I think that if we do decide to do something like that, Spencer Torkelson's future with the Tigers is absolutely going to come into question, because you've got Eddie Valencia, who is more of the true power threat right now. Of course, this is all speculative. But if Eddie starts, if Eddie keeps showing you the power and you feel good about him as your backup catcher, maybe an option at first base, some at DH, and you keep Torres next year, Torque is basically the same guy as Torres, but a little worse. And maybe a little more power than Torres, but like, they offer very similar games. Torque strikes out a lot more than Glaber, but the walk rates are not that dissimilar. Like, it's basically Torque is the power discipline guy, Glaber's the contact discipline guy. He plays a more valuable position, and it's like, next year if you have Torres and Torkelson on that roster, and then you want to start bringing Briseño into the equation as a potential first baseman, all of a sudden you've got a pretty valuable trade chip in Torkelson that was already a valuable trade chip the last 2 off seasons. And everybody was telling us to trade Torque, and we didn't. And yet going into this offseason, regardless of the end of the year, just because of his production to this point, trading him is still going to be a viable option. Not to say that I want to get rid of him, but just to say that you could get some decent relievers back for him and fortify that bullpen that we are all collectively concerned about. It could be interesting.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, I like Torque. I really do, but there's a point you get to where you it switches up.
Yes, I switched it up. Yes. I'm not going to troll no more.
There we go.
But I mean, I like Torque, but I also like value for what's going on. I do believe he has still 2 more arbitration years for us too, as well. So it's like, if you equal the same output that you did last year, you can't ask for much more, if any more at all. So if he keeps signing them to 1-year deals, that's good. $4 or $5 million a year each year. Yeah. I mean, that's cool. And if he does end up like at least being a stable guy, like if he can, if the swoons can like level out more where they're just like little loops instead of valleys, I think it would be great. Now, if that's the case, that just ends up being he's going to bat 240, 230. He's going to hit 35 home runs, and he's going to walk 60 times, and he's going to, bring in 80 RBI. That's his. I mean, people are going to get mad because they expect him to be a specific way, but that's what he's going to be the rest of his career. That's just the way he is. And you have to live with that. You got to trade him. And if he has a couple of years, you're right, we could trade him. He would be a good trade bait to get a couple of bullpen arms or something like that. Especially, like you said, with Briseño coming up. As I just looked at Briseño, like that would be good because he's playing a lot of first base. Maybe that is the wink thing that they want to cover down for, because as I look at our prospect pool, I mean, I'm sure some guys have played first base, but I am not joking. Until you get down to, man, where are our natural first basemen outside
in the top 30? I think he's the only one, because first basemen as prospects are just criminally underrated.
Yep.
I can get into that a little deeper in a later in a later topic, like on this show, but in a later topic. But we have a couple of other first base prospects that are not getting the love they deserve, but that isn't relevant to Torque.
Will Adams.
Like Will Adams?
Yeah, Will Adams. But that's it, because otherwise you got Ed Valencia, who's a catcher first baseman, and Lorenzo, yeah. But it's very shallow when it comes to our top 30 in terms of first baseman possibilities.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah. But let's move on to the next topic, which is, so we know that Dingler hasn't really, we're not used to him being in a slump, really, like this bad. So is it good that he's maybe getting it out of the way for the possible playoffs? Or do you feel like because he's new to this, it's going to stick with him for a while? Steven.
My main concern with Dingler is he is definitely being overused. I understand why, but the problem is when Jake Rogers was still on the roster, I don't really understand why Dingler wasn't DHing more. I mean, ultimately, we probably would have had the same offensive outcomes. I mean, we were batting guys that were, we were playing guys that were batting in the high 100s anyway. what's wrong with having a solid defensive catcher that gives your guy a spell? But, obviously that's a critique that doesn't need to be made. I mean, Eduardo Valencia looked a lot better defensively behind the plate today, but we have no idea really what his makeup is because there's a lot of narratives going on around him that could be true, could not be true, and we will only know when he has a body of work because we didn't really know how good of a defender Dylan Dingler was until last year. We knew he could be good, but like the level of excellence that he provided was not made clear to us.
Yeah.
And I really think, unfortunately, I'm gonna just advocate for an idea that is mine, and that is I think that you need to have a one player only 5-day fatigue list in the major leagues. It is the longest season in professional sports, and you should be able to put one guy at a time on a fatigue list, kind of like how you can put a guy on a concussion list. I mean, the guy's body clearly is just not feeling good at all right now. I don't think this is his makeup. I don't think this is his outlook. I think he feels like garbage. And sometimes you just gotta fly a player's mom out and let him see his mom,
So are you saying like the fatigue list would be like it doesn't count against the 40-man roster? That way you can bring up a catcher to back up like Edward Valencia if he's catching that night. So you bring up somebody from the minors or you're signing another guy or whatever, you have them on the roster. So technically you would have a 41-man roster or 42. You get 2 fatigue guys or whatever, and you can bring a guy up as an emergency, kind of like an emergency quarterback in the NFL. You bring him up.
Kind of. I don't necessarily think it needs to be a slot on the 40-man. I think that if that list existed, people would put extra catchers on the 40-man roster for that scenario. Because let's be honest, that list would primarily be used by catchers. But
true.
But that's the whole point is that, there are incredibly important catchers. I mean, look at Alex Avila, for example. Alex Avila was phenomenal in 2011. And in 2012, he was still a great catcher, but he took a massive step down and quite literally never reached that point again. Didn't he get like 2 concussions in 2011?
I don't know the injury factor behind it, but I know he got hurt.
I don't think it was his fault, is kind of what I'm saying. And I feel the same about Dingler. I think he's going to long-term be a DH once they find someone who can play defense as well as him, if they can. I don't know if that's possible. But if they're able to, and he continues to produce at this level, I see them transitioning him out of catcher in 3 to 4 years toward the end of his rookie contract, just because he's so important defensively. Or offensively is what I meant to say, not defensively. He is important defensively, but catcher, you can create good defensive catchers.
Yeah. No, I mean, plus he's not exactly like 23 or 24 years old. He is 27, so when his rookie contract's done, he'll be a little older. And you're right, moving him to DH would be good, especially if he still has consistent power and consistent hitting. That'd be great. I mean, that's your like your fill-in for whomever, at DH.
And my final note on it before I send it off to the other guys is if he stops hitting to this level, that incentivizes you to continue catching him because he'll play fewer games by proxy.
True. That's true. New breed.
Yeah, he's going through a slump, but I mean, eventually all baseball players go through slumps. It's just what they do to get over this slump. That's the thing. I'm not too worried about with Dylan Dingler. I think he's going to get over it. I think, I do agree. I do agree with Steven. He has to overuse because you have to overuse him because he hasn't really had a backup that can give him that kind of rest like that. Like with Jake Rogers. I mean, with Jake Rogers, he'll have a couple games where he'll hit, but then at the same time, he struggles so much. So you rely on his hitting so much that you can't have him out of the lineup. And he's such a good catcher that throws and gets people out when they run. So it's hard to get a person, a day off when they're so well at that position, and you're used to that. But with Valencia, to have him, go at DH, they said should have him more at DH. A little bit more just to rest him, just to for him to get ready for later in the season for that playoff push, because you're gonna need him. But to have him at DH, or might even have just have him, give him some days off, whatever. But at the same time, it's baseball. That's what you live for. You have to. Sometimes you got to go through those storms and play a lot of games, because it is 162 games in the season. So sometimes you have to, work through it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to play that many games. And as far as, even with a slump or for rest, you have to play that many games. It's a lot of catchers that has played a lot of years, and they haven't taken a lot of days off. I mean, if you go, to Salvador Perez, he's played a lot of years in the league, and he plays damn near every day. So it happens. But I'm not too worried about the slump. I think he's going to get over it. He's too good of a hitter to still keep going on a slump like this. He's going to eventually break it and go back to what he does. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all.
Mike?
No, I agree with them. Like, I'm not worried about it. I think he needs a couple days off. I think we need to give him a little bit of a break. I think he could be hitting a little bit of a wall, because catching it puts a lot of toll on your body to begin with. That's one of the most physically demanding, if not the most physically demanding position, if we want to be honest about it. But I think they had to give him some days off. Like, even those days when he wasn't catching, he was still in the lineup as a DH. Like, he still didn't get a chance to have a day off. I think he needs a couple rest days, and he'll get back to it. And I'm not concerned with his hitting at all. It's going to come back. I just think he needs a bit of a rest.
Yeah, I mean, Dingler, like, if you even notice it, like, even his ABS challenges, man, it's like he's not even seeing, like, the ball. Like, his last few ABS challenges has been way off. And I was like, that's not him. Like, some of them have been, like, way out of the strike zone, and he still thinks it's a strike. So, yeah, I think it is definitely, he got to be tired. He's just got to be tired. He needs time off. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Valencia versus Torque versus Briseño long term. So I'm gonna let Steven talk about this, because he got this. This is not a bad idea. And now that you have to think about it, it's more or less like we have a backup in Valencia as a catcher, but he also can play first base. Torque is first base, and Briseño is a first base or a catcher. So take it away, Steven.
Yeah, and I felt like this was kind of a creative tagline, because the reason why it's Valencia versus Torque is not because I think Valencia is going to take over for Torque at first base, unless, like Lorenzo, like you mentioned, comes up and is ready to be a backup catcher, or Briseño returns to catcher, which doesn't look possible. I'm more so saying that their bats are competing. To head back to the conversation where I mentioned, like, there's no point in having both Torres and Torque on the team if Valencia is going to hit like this. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Valencia and Torque are kind of both hitting for their Tigers' lives, in my opinion. And Valencia, his contact quality is just better. It's better than pretty much any point in Torque's career. Like, this stretch he's had, I don't know if Torque has ever had a consistent stretch where he's hit the ball as well as Valencia's hit since he's made his major league debut. I've been absolutely blown away just by how much he has executed, because I knew that this version of him was in there. But even when people get super hot, there's usually a ton of singles. There's usually a lot of swing and miss on breaking balls that is, disproportionate to the fastball. I haven't seen that from Valencia. And then Briseño just feels like a sure hit, just because he's gone through a lot of adversity. He's got similar makeup to Valencia, but he's 21, and he came up with Clark and McGonigal. They played a lot of games together, so he's probably got that same dog mindset that they have. I'm super encouraged, especially getting him out from behind the plate. I think it'll keep him healthier, which has been the main concern with him as a prospect. But I think that there is a modicum of pressure on Torque. And Valencia just needs to keep hitting, and like the entire nucleus of this team might alter a bit with Briseño possibly becoming a first baseman. I mean, I don't know how good he is defensively there. We still got to hear about that, but he's got the perfect build to be a first baseman. He's left-handed, so the scoops could be useful. I'm super intrigued to see how this battle plays out, and I want to hear your thoughts about this trifecta.
Mike.
I don't know. Like, I don't really have much on this topic. I do love how Valencia has been looking. He's still hitting and showing power and getting home runs. Toward, like we said a couple topics ago, like the last 70 game stretch. I mean, he's doing immaculate, but it's just like I just need a full season. I don't need a 70 game stretch to hold on to when we play 162 games. Like he has to put down a good, consistent body of work in the season, like throughout the whole season. Like he's gonna have slumps, but they can't be where you're hitting sub 200. So until he puts it all together for a long period of time, I think Valencia would be a valid. He would be a valid replacement if he continues to do what he's doing. But I'm gonna let it play out a little bit more. Briseño, we'll see. Like I do agree with Steven what he said. I think sometimes people see first base and they underrated a lot because I think even pro rise with Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's still having a hell of a year. Nobody's talking about him, but he's still having a hell of a year, even with leaving the Mets and being on the Orioles, who's not having the greatest season. But it's just one of those positions that get undervalued. But as far as Torque versus Valencia, Torque has to continue doing what he's doing in Valencia. He just has to keep going at it too, and we'll see how it shakes out. But right now, that stretch that Torque is on right now is doing well for him. I just hope that he can continue being a consistent cog when he's up to bat, man. Because it's nice to see. We've been wanting to see it. We just haven't really seen it.
New breed.
I mean, you would like for all three of these guys to be long term. That would be the dream, but we know that's probably not going to be the reality of it. I know some people was going to say you got the best from Torque. This is the best he's ever going to be. He's not going to be that outstanding, that first pick that we all would thought, hey, this guy's going to be this future Hall of Famer, this guy that's going to hit 40 home runs every year and stuff. It just hasn't happened like that. But I'm always have faith in Torque. It's just, is this the best we're going to get out of him? And is he ever going to get better? That's the thing. We don't know. Now, Valencia, yeah, he's had these home runs and stuff, but can he be consistent? That's the thing. It's all about, when it comes to baseball, it's consistency, and what have you done for me lately? If you can't do that, then you're going to be out of baseball. When you struggle. With Presidio, I think with a guy like him, he could be long term because he plays a lot of positions. So a guy that plays a lot of positions, he can be long term because every team needs somebody like that that's willing to play multiple positions and who is willing to take to hit. So long term, you can say Presidio, but as far as like hitting, you can say Valencia because he can hit for power. But if I was to pick, I would say Presidio because you always like to get a person that can play multiple positions, that can play anywhere, and that can hit. And that's my thing. I always like a person that's willing to play different positions, that can hit. Now, we'll see what he does in the majors when he comes in. We just don't know. But sometimes when you bring new guys in, they can be good for the first couple weeks, and then that reality kick in when they know you and they know how to pitch to you and everything. So that's the thing. But if I was to pick one, I would say Presidio.
That's fair. Chris, you have anything you want to say real quick?
No, I mean, I like. It's kind of a good problem to have if you really
Yeah.
think about it. It is a good problem to have because I mean, you can sign Torque for $5 million next year, and it'd still be a raise, and fine, cool. If you do the same thing, you get another raise next year. If you do better than that next year, then that's when they're going to have to think about like long term, like because then you got to. That's when your long term comes into play. By then, you might already know what Persenio is and Valencia. So
Yes, and the future has to be bright because when you got a team, when you got an up and coming team like the White Sox, you need your young prospects to flourish, just like the
yeah,
White Sox is flourishing. Who would have thought that they would have came out the way they came out?
yeah,
Nobody
I
would have thought
didn't.
that,
no, not at
especially with the
all.
season they had the last couple years.
But see, they're having the same year. They're having the same season that we had that 2 years ago when we came out of nowhere to make the playoffs. That's the season they're having. All their rookies and all their young guys are hitting well, which is and I mean, if you're a White Sox fan right now, you just got to be ready that don't be. Look what happened to the Tigers the following year. Yeah, we did make the playoffs. We did get better, but we had a lot of players change. They didn't do as well. So like, yeah, everybody's hitting great right now, and that's congratulations, White Sox. You're doing great, but just remember it happens like that. Everybody
And,
does well.
and remember, Cleveland is right behind you.
Oh,
Just like how the Tigers was,
God,
Cleveland
man.
could come back and take that. I hate to say it, but it can happen.
What happened to Emmanuel Clase again?
He went to jail.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes. Yes. I had to speak on it.
I know. I mean, you're not wrong. Okay. I want to throw it back to an interesting point you made earlier, Chris, which is first base talent in the minor leagues. I want to shout out two guys. I'm going to send you their names so you can look them up and check out their stats right now. There's two guys, both at high A right now, which means they're only 2 levels away from the majors.
Yep.
Garrett Pennington is one. He's the older of the two. He's 24 or 25 now. But
Garrett Pennington? Okay.
Garrett Pennington. I sent it in the chat. But he was drafted in 2024, so he was only drafted 2 years ago. College guy plus power. And this year he's really had his breakout, OPSing just south of 900. Been even better at high A than he was at single A, and did get a call up to double A before getting injured. And then there's another guy I want to shout out named Bo Ankeny. And I typed him in the chat as well. Bo Ankeny is actually having an even better season than Garrett Pennington and is now at high A. And I had never heard of Bo Ankeny before this year. He is 23, so he's pretty young, but he has 22 home runs.
They actually pronounce that
RBIs.
Bo instead of Boo, like View.
Bo as in like Bo Brisky.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I thought.
Same
Okay.
spelling as Bo Brisky or Bo Burrows, depending on how long ago you want to go.
Yeah.
But 22 homers, getting up to high A, that's not nothing. And he's played 14 games at high A, replacing Pennington, who got promoted. And he's hit 7 homers in those 14 games after his promotion. So he's going in a positive direction.
Yeah, I can see I'm looking at his minor league stats right now.
Yeah, so we actually have a ton of talent at the first base position that is obviously not in the top 30, just because we have become a lot more diverse in the prospect pool in the past 2 months even. And I'm encouraged because Torkelson was supposed to be the guy. I saw somebody comment in the chat saying, like, Harris is not going to give up on his first-round draft pick. But I want to clarify, that's not Harris's first-round draft pick.
Hope.
It's not. And the fact is Harris has given Torque quite the leash. His first year as Pobo, Torque was solid, but bad first half. Second year, Torque was terrible. And Harris continued to give him chances.
Yep.
Because the makeup was there and because Torque was willing to do the work.
Yeah.
And Harris loved that about him. But he is going to pass the baton if Torque can't continue to improve his process like he's been doing. And these guys are a case in point. They're exciting, and they could come up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I love Torque. I love Briseño. I love Valencia. And I'm intrigued by both of these guys. It's a good place to be at that position.
Yeah. They are really good prospects. I'm just looking at their stats and everything. They are really good. Like you said, the first base prospects just don't get the same notoriety as other positions.
They do not.
Nope. Okay, moving on. Next topic. I don't know who wants to speak on this because Kerry Carpenter, it's like I'm sure he'll come back from injury prior to the playoffs, but where do we see him at? Because what he was good at, he's not, and I don't know if that was because he was injured or not, or he just can't find the ball anymore. I mean, he's really like, we've got players like him now, you know. So let's start with New Breed. What do you think?
Man, it could be anything with Kerry Carpenter. It can be injuries. It could be he needs to find himself. It can be the fact that he's being called Kerry Bonds or something. I don't know. It's just, and I don't. It's just, it could be anything. But I just hope he finds himself, man. It's just that's a good thought too. Trade him. I understand that. Trade him. I understand. But he has to find himself. It's one of the things you could say. So we send him to the minors so he can find himself. That could be another thing. Might have to send him to the minors. Might have to send him to Toledo to get himself, situated. But he's such a vital part of this team from that playoff run. Because who knows where we would have been if he didn't hit that home run off Clase.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's a lot of people that they know how to pitch to him as well. But it's struggle issues with him. It's a mental thing. But like I said, who knows with Kerry Carpenter, man? I don't know if it's mechanics. I don't know if it's something going on in his personal life. I mean, I don't know. It could be anything. It could be a combination of everything. But I just you talk about George Kirby. That is good. That is good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That might be true. Or if he's facing Cleveland too, you never know. But I hope he figures it out, man. I want him to come back. But let's just chill on the Kerry Bonds thing. Don't put that much pressure on him like that. Don't put that much pressure on Kerry Bonds. Don't do that to him. He ain't ready for that kind of day. I'm just saying. But I hope he works on his mechanics and everything. Just send him to Toledo and see what we can do with him. I don't want to trade him. I don't want to trade him. Let's just keep him. Let's keep him.
Mike?
I honestly don't know what to make of this situation because, like we said in the last episode,
Exactly.
before the season started, he would have been one of my core guys, like to build around, going around year to year. But I don't know. This season just has not been good. It's not been a good look for him at the plate at all. Hopefully, when he comes back healthy, he refines it because we need it, man. Like, we know what bullpen we got. Our bullpen is our Achilles heel. And we need to score as much as possible. And part of scoring as much as possible is getting them bombs, man, and getting them at good opportune times where you got people on the bases. So if he can come back, be healthy, and do what he was doing prior to this season, I would love it. But that remains to be seen.
I mean, I look at it this way: like, how many threats do we have a team? Like, when a guy gets up to the plate, who's a threat?
Valencia and Torque right now.
I mean, like, nobody's scared of most of our batters, nobody's scared of them. There's nothing.
And I've said this over the past couple years. When you have a lineup full of utility players, it's not going to scare pitchers.
Yeah.
It's not.
At all. I do give that comment is true though. Even with Green having this not sophomore second half season slump, left-handed pitching was still respecting him, especially in extra innings, but they just automatically just put him on base instead of facing him. So,
Yeah.
but not many. It's only like 2 or 3 batters at a time that you have to even think about on this roster, and that's a problem, man. The roster building is a problem. When that's was my complaints on last episode. The pro side, not the drafting side, not the prospect side, but the pro side leaves a lot to be desired. We got too many gaps, man. Even still.
Yeah, you need to bring once again, and we've been saying this for years, but you need. Nobody wants to. Well, I mean, maybe things will change after next year. Like a lot of things are going to change after next year, so that could change a lot of minds of how people like draft and how people like process. Plus, I mean, I've heard, and I think you've heard it, Steven, that I may have mentioned this before, but the fact that they may like close off high school players as a draft ability. They may just maybe college players only.
That was tossed around.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way of drafting and the way of like signing players may change. And maybe in the future we sign, I don't know, Vlad Jr. comes up on a free agency. We may do it, but that's the thing. Like we hardly ever draft anybody, or we don't develop anybody to the point where they're that threat. Or we don't pull anybody in that. Now, do we get like a season here and a season there where we'll have a couple of guys that might be a threat? Yeah, but we don't have anything on a consistent. We're like, shoot, we got to face the Tigers. We got to worry about X, Y, and Z. No, we don't. Just pitch around them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my only issue. And Kerry had that. Was it last year, the year before in the playoffs?
He's had moments like in the playoffs when nobody hit nothing. He's had clutch moments.
Yeah, so we need him back to that, you know. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know what else. All right.
Here, wait. I hadn't chimed in on this yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's okay. I just had some thoughts I wanted to share. Generally, yeah, I feel you. I was really intrigued when you guys were talking about like how many people in our lineup really scare pitchers because, you know, generally speaking, my feeling is that we have a reasonably threatening lineup. But when you guys put it like that, it got me thinking. And, you know, obviously, objectively, I agree. The main guys that are going to scare you to be a threat to leave the yard are like Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, occasionally Torque when he's hot. But right now, he's more a threat to just knock in runs more than anything. And then Dingler, of course, Valencia. Like, there's some pieces on here that could scare you. And what's kind of encouraging to me is that, first of all, we got a potential replacement for Kerry Carpenter in the Skubal deal in Zaire Hope. Potential, of course, that is still a prospect. But he himself is 21. He's struggled since the trade. People have made a huge deal out of that, despite the fact that he's, again, 21. And the fact of the matter is that McGonigal, Clark, and you know, even to an extent, Malgeri really haven't grown into their major league power yet. I think that there is some room for a lot of these guys to grow into some more power. But yes, to kind of just bring it back to the main point we're focusing on, Kerry Carpenter's bat was so important to the last few years of Tigers baseball. I would even say he was critically important to 2023. When we started to create an identity for ourselves, he was really good, even back then. And that's kind of the thing that frustrates me about the position that we're in with Kerry. Last episode, I was feeling emotional, and so I kind of wrote him off and said Zaire Hope was going to replace him 1-for-1. I'm not going to be that bold today because, that, you know, obviously the trade had just happened. I was still feeling the high. But I do understand why I felt that way. Because Kerry pretty much offers nothing when he's only a homer guy. The thing that made Kerry Carpenter unique was the fact that he was a left-handed power hitter who also batted in the high 200s. He didn't take his walks. He didn't really strike out that much, but he did hit bombs and he did get hits. So when pitchers would leave the zone, he would swing and miss at times, but he also sometimes would hit those pitches out of the zones for singles.
Yeah.
So pitchers didn't know how to pitch him. I think that he's changed his approach a little bit this year, and I was intrigued by it at first. Back in April, he had a super high walk rate. It was like 14 or 15%, and I don't think he'd walked that high in any stretch of his career because he's always been a big swinger. But in response, his K rate was around 40%. And as the season has gone on, obviously, I do think a factor is injury, but I think injury is going to be part of him. He's a big-bodied man who has a spine injury in his recent past. That's really hard to overcome, especially when you include hamstrings in that mix. And it's just going to be tough, especially since power is his MO. I don't know how you recreate a guy like that because there's just not that many guys that hit in the high 200s and hit homers and don't walk much. You've got your Otanis who can produce high batting averages, but he's also going to strike out a ton and walk a ton because, like you said, pitchers are afraid of him. I don't really know of any other guy in the major leagues who is Kerry Carpenter. I don't think Zaire Hope is going to be Kerry Carpenter. He could potentially be better, but he could potentially not represent Kerry Carpenter in the lineup, and as a result, make us less scary. Because Kerry Carpenter being in the lineup made us better. And that's what's so tough about this. I can't decide. I need to see Zaire Hope in action next season before I can really decide. And as a result, I'm not ready to trade him yet. I also don't think his value would be that high. He doesn't really have a position. He plays right field, but he's not very good at it.
Yeah. You kind of hope like he comes back and he kind of like just gets hot. And then you would hope that out the gate next season he plays really well and then you've got a chance at the deadline. But usually when a player plays well, coming back from an injury, you don't want to trade him. You want to keep him and then hope that he does continue to play well.
Yeah. And Breed said to send him down, and he does. I'm almost positive he still has all three options. So that actually is viable.
Yep. Yeah, he has three options still. So that's a good idea.
We need hope in hope. We need hope in hope. That's going to be a slogan, I'm telling you. It's going to be a shirt. We need hope in hope.
You can make this shirt and start selling it now. Take advantage of the hype. Yeah. Do it. Shoot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on to our final topic. Do we believe that the Tigers will make the playoffs? Now, we never said win the division now, but stop it. Steven.
Yeah, obviously I don't have a definitive answer. This team, one thing I want to make very clear, this is not a 26-man roster of equal talent. It is a 21 or 22-man roster of really good players, and then we've just got 5 or so holes. And the fact of the matter is that if you lose a guy like Riley Green, it's just going to hurt a lot because now you're down to 20 good players.
Yeah.
And if we have no Kerry Carpenter right now, let's say that Kerry Carpenter is making you better, that's down to 19. And so if we're going to be a team with holes and we're trying to push for the playoffs, you have to maximize what you're getting out of those holes. And in May, we did a terrible job of that. And I hope Scott Harris has learned from that. There's not much that can be done about it right now. The only option we really have is to call up Max Anderson, which would pretty much change nothing. He wouldn't really make a huge difference because Gleyber Torres is doing exactly what he would do well. And so I sense that we are currently in a position where, obviously the White Sox just beat us in 2 games convincingly, but neither game was just straight up we played terrible. We were not a worse team than the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox just beat us. And that's what's tough, is because if they were better yesterday and today, are they better than us straight up? We can't really know that until we play them again. And the circumstances are different. When we don't have 3 starting pitchers and 2 bullpen days, when we don't have no Riley Green, when we don't have no Kerry Carpenter, when, when more of these question marks that we have been winning despite are gone. And, my dad, he's funny. He's been telling me for weeks now, we just need to win 2 out of 3. And really, we've been doing that. And that's why we're back in this playoff race, because a couple weeks ago, we were 7 or 8 games under 500. We are 3 games under 500, but we were 1 game under 2 days ago. And we've changed our fate so quickly because of consistency that we found. I truly believe that what we need to do is just kind of temper our expectations for the day-to-day. We need to look at it as, are we winning the majority of series that we're playing? If we're winning the majority of series that we're playing, I do think we have a good shot to win the wild card, because I think a lot of those teams in the middle, they sold. They're starting to fall. I don't really believe in the Twins offense. I think they're going to fall. The Guardians are the Guardians, but at the same time, their style of baseball can go either way. You never know. They're honestly the most unpredictable team. Every single year, they're going to be the thorn in our side. But none of the other wildcard teams really scare me. They all have bigger problems than we do.
Mike.
I agree. I think we can make this. We've been doing a really good job with our series. Like you said, win 2 out of 3. Even with us losing this Chicago series, I think that's 9 for like the last 14. So you would take 9 out of 14. You would take 9 out of 15 if you had to rank the last 15 series. So as long as we keep doing that, I think we'll remain in this wild card race and possibly remain in this division race. But it does sting a little bit losing at least 2 of these 3, because we could have moved and made some real. We already made a jump, but we could have jumped even further ahead. If we would have swept them, we would have been leading this division if we would have swept all 3 of these games. So they'll still be in it, and I think we do have a good shot at making it. And why not? Why not? Why don't we get in?
Yeah, New Breed.
Well, here's the thing. They have a chance. They have a chance. Anybody has a chance. But reality-wise, do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No. I think injuries, I think something is going to happen. The starting pitching is going to collapse and everything. It's just, and then somebody made a comment I wanted to say something on. Just because you have the easiest schedule does not mean that you're going to go to the playoffs. That doesn't mean that. So it doesn't mean that. You can have it. And then even with these bad teams, even with I'm right. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. It's reality. You know I'm right. But just because you have the easiest schedule does not mean, you're going to win, because sometimes with these bad teams, when they ain't got nothing to lose, they can show up. So you never know.
Yep.
You never know. I mean, but then you still got to face teams in the division. You still got to face the Twins. You still got to face the Guardians. You still got to face the White Sox. Then you got to face other teams like the Dodgers and everybody too. So technically, it ain't gonna be easy. But do I think that they're gonna make the playoffs? No, I'm sorry. I just don't think so. Maybe that last wild card, maybe even a chance at the division. But you know who I'm gonna go for the division. You already know.
God. I will say there's another few weeks here, we're going to have a real stretch. We play Minnesota, Cleveland, Minnesota again, and then skip Colorado, Chicago, we play Chicago again. It's like there's going to be like a 2.5, 3 week where there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 series, and out of those, 4 of them are against our division series. Like that's your make or break stretch right there. That
Yes.
if you do well in that stretch right there, you got a good chance. But if you don't, you're done. You're toast.
And on the road too. That's the thing. And on the road against division teams, like the games in Cleveland and in Chicago are really gonna let me know how this team is gonna be. If you can take a series from those two teams, then I'm gonna be like, okay, they'll be serious about a playoff spot.
Yep.
But if you're not, you just gonna be down under.
And it's funny because we play the Dodgers coming up. I mean, this team's so funny that they could beat the Dodgers, sweep them, and then the next day play the Pirates and lose all 3. Like it's weird how our team is. It's like it's just odd. It's just an oddball of a team.
Yeah, it's like you almost want them to play some good teams just to see how they would play against them. Because with the easy teams, I mean, you can just teams like Oakland and the Giants. I mean, okay, you won that series, okay, but let's see how you do against these other teams. How you gonna play? That's the thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you got Pittsburgh coming up. Okay, got KC after that. Cool. Tampa Bay's a tough team. They're tough. So you go Tampa Bay, and then you go to Tampa, and then you go Los Angeles, like back to back, 2 really good teams. You know, you take those 2 series or do well against them, then okay. But you know what I mean? You got to face those tough teams. So before we get out of here, let's any final thoughts? Anybody have any final thoughts? Overall play? You looking forward to the rest of the season? You just gonna go to Cancun and meet the Tigers, or what are you gonna do? Maybe meet the Guardians in Cancun? I don't know.
I got something I can chip in.
Okay.
I think that because the playoffs are the ultimate goal of baseball, it can sometimes get away from us how much better a team is playing. I don't really think the 2025 Tigers were as real as they felt on June 30th of that year, for example. I feel like the current Tigers are so close to being legit. They're not legit right now, but they are ready to become legit. And there is a pathway to legitimacy, and I'm encouraged by that. It's meaningful baseball, even if it's not playoff baseball, if you don't believe that we're going to make it. And as someone who looks at the process as much as I look at the results on the field, that's really encouraging to me.
That's good.
If we have to depend on somebody like Jake Outman to save our season, we have a problem. We are out, man. I'm just saying. A man that's below 200, if we got to keep putting him in the lineup, something's wrong here. I'm just saying. I'm sorry I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Hey, he ain't lying. That's what I was saying on the last episode. We got too many people getting that bats that shouldn't, and it's no smoke to them at all. It's just like we at a stage right now where we need to be putting legitimate at bats up there, man. We got people holding the bat that shouldn't be holding the bat on this roster any longer.
Jake Outman.
Hey, I'm looking forward to, and I know Rich is not here. I'm looking forward to Parker Meadows coming back. Just gotta throw that out there. Hey, Steve,
here's my question though: do we put him out there when he's healthy, or do we just save him till next season?
Oh God, he needs I don't know. Now I don't know if time will even help him because he got injured and then he was out and then he started the season just fine and then he got hurt and he was done. I mean, I don't know what to do with him. Like, he has no value whatsoever. I thought he would be a pretty good player. I mean, he just keeps. It's like he breaks the nail and he's out for the season. You know, I mean, it's rough. Him and freaking Olsen, both of them guys, they rough.
Yeah, without saying too much, I unfortunately don't think that decision is going to have to be made. I highly doubt he sees I highly doubt he sees any level of professional ball this season. I think his arm is taking too long to heal.
Yeah, I mean, he probably. I mean, I'm not going to say he's done with baseball, but I don't know how much more he's going to play even with the Tigers, unless he has just an awesome how can I put it, an awesome bat. Like when he does come back, he's got to really play himself back into an ability to stay on a team. Otherwise, he's just going to be DFA'd or optioned down or released or what. I mean, I don't know what else you can do with him. With him, you can at least still send him down, I do believe. But yeah, I just threw Parker Meadows out there because Rich can't stand the guy. And hey, I think I jinxed him because 3 years ago I told him he was going to be a 5-tool player because he had the height, he had the speed, and his defense was really good. And then he had gone on a streak of just playing really well, and then that was it. That's all he's ever had. So I don't call anybody anything anymore. I don't ever want to put that voodoo on anybody.
Hey, listen, I got a Parker Meadows jersey, so I'm just as guilty as anybody. So,
all right, let's get out of here. It is getting a little bit late. So, Steven, where can they find you, man?
All right, you can find me at Rising Tigers on X. I try to provide unbiased opinions on the state of the Tigers that are more informative than they are emotional. It's a little emotional sometimes, but I try.
Mike?
You can find me on X at @1pride_JR.
New breed Cleveland fan.
So y'all could New Breed 313 Sports 313 the New Breed Real Talk. You ain't right. Give money, you ain't right. I'm a Tigers fan.
I know you are.
Stuff to troll, you know that.
I know you troll. See,
Hey,
told you.
Hey, listen. The air mattresses sales is going up now. It's going up. I'm just saying. They're going up.
You can find me on X, Crazy Hockey Fan. You can also find me on Instagram at OnePrideNation_24. Also, like and subscribe to Detroit Fan Report on YouTube. You can find us probably more often than not on Saturdays when we do the Central Crown. Thanks for everybody watching tonight. But once again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh, that's rough. Any final thoughts before we go, guys?
Let's go, Guards.
All right.
Moment of silence.
Oh, my goodness. Y'all have a good evening.
Have a good evening, everybody.